Yeah, when I was 17, I somehow ended up in a sweat lodge with an elder asking, on the day that you die, what will you think of as the most valuable thing you did with your life? So would you think, oh, I wish I had watched more Netflix? Would you think, gee, I wish I bought more stuff? So it's not like there's any right or wrong answers to this question, but we tend to get real with what's essential and what's not when thinking of it this way. When the time comes for me, I'd like to be thinking, I'm so grateful that I had so much freedom, love, inspiration, and meaning in my life. And I'm so happy that I passed these feelings to the people that I love around me. So how do you end up dying like that? It's definitely easier said than done. One thing I realized is that taking investment in my business would most probably not bring me any closer to that goal. Why? Well, I'm going to cite Dan Martell, and sorry, Rob and Tiny Seed, if I'm stepping on your business here, but investments are for scaling a profitable business. Anything else is going to take the control away from you and into the hands and minds of those who do not care about your why. And if you like, we can discuss afterwards. Another thing I realized was that rushing for growth, by all means, would not either. Why? Because when you are under pressure in one aspect of life, family, for example, stability and security are critical. That's why so many people never realize their dreams. In my case, I've had periods where I was under a lot of pressure, and to work on marketing tasks was draining my energy, whereas improving the product energized me. So that's what I focused on in those periods, knowing that I was sacrificing the growth that a better marketing effort would have given me. So to be able to stay in control and grow slowly, I chose to build a business in a niche that's part of a vast industry. My main inspiration to do so was a small Danish company called Church Desk. Anybody heard of them? There's one! Wow, that's cool. Okay, so Church Desk they're making a CMS or internet-like solution to churches, and they focused at that point on Protestant churches at the west coast of Danish region, Jutland. So that's kind of niche to me. But it's also a pretty darn clear target group, and a homogeneous one as well. They pretty much all need precisely the same features, and they don't need anything too complicated. So if Church Desk could do business like that, I should be able to do as well. See, I don't need a huge turnover to get to a point where my ultimate goal is in reach. All I need is financial independence. So this strategy seemed to be for me. The business I created was a SaaS one, and the product focuses on salespeople doing cold calling. We fill a gap in the CRM market where tailoring a workflow for the low prestige and often neglected top of the funnel became our niche. And what you see here is one of the very early landing pages for the product. So at the time I nailed this, I had been doing a handful of startups in different constellations. I had been out running after the money men on several occasions, and I had failed in multiple different ways. I also met my wife and son, who was nearly 2 years old when I met them, and we had decided to get another child together. At this point, we needed stability and security, so I decided to go for the long haul. I took a day job and worked on MyPhoner in the evenings and weekends. This seemed like a sound decision, and the way was paved for my success. But then life got harder. My wife had a pretty bad concussion. She's still not back working full-time after 5 years. At the age of 6, my son made a drawing of his family in school. It was his mother in bed and his father sitting in front of his computer working. Devastating reality. I had to get up in the morning, feed the kids, bring them to kindergarten and school, go to work to make money, pick up the kids in the afternoon, buy groceries, cook food, clean the kitchen, put the kids to bed, and then work on my phone. My wife could do one of these things every day, but only one. As time passed, my wife became more and more desperate and nervous about her concussion, worrying if she would ever be her old self again. Naturally, this was a worry of mine as well. So something had to happen. I was not happy in my day job. And I was frustrated that nothing I cared about, neither my wife, my kids, or my startup, could get the care and attention they needed. I believe many people experience something similar at some point. And for some, it leads to divorce, or giving up on their dreams, or failing to raise their children with love and care and attention. It's a real crisis, and there are no easy answers. No solution offers real relief. So, does anybody in this room resonate with this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay. More? Small hands? Okay, good. Thank you, guys. I hear stories. When I tell my story, people start talking. And I think a lot of people experience crisis. Maybe not exactly the same, but we experience crisis along the way. So I had to figure out what to do. But it was not easy. I felt stuck. I don't think I need to explain to you guys why I couldn't just give up on my startup. It's in our blood, right? I would die a slow, painful death by only working for other people. Obviously, I couldn't fail my kids. I couldn't stop making money. And I couldn't leave my sick wife. But I also couldn't continue like this for long. It was mentally unhealthy and would lead to stress, burnout, conflict, dysfunctional kids, and not the freedom, love, inspiration, and meaning I was striving for. So, eventually we took 3 actions. I quit my job. We sold the apartment and moved to the countryside and started spending a nice portion of our monthly budget on therapy. From then on, things started to improve slowly. It's cheaper to live in a house in the countryside than in central Copenhagen. My employer offered me work as a freelancer instead, and I could suddenly make the money I needed working part-time this way. MyPhoner kept growing slowly, and eventually it overtook freelancing as the primary source of revenue in my company. My wife got better, and our kids, of which we now have 3, are relatively sane. And apparently, I'm adhering to the tradition by showing pictures of my family here. So, today, I'm inches away from making the money I need to sustain my current lifestyle from MyPhoner alone. Which basically, after adjusting ambition and being thoughtful about the meaning of life many times, means that I'm inches away from living my dream. All right. So, takeaways. Here's a few takeaways that I think may be valuable. The first, we've heard it before. It's like, pick your niche. There you go. Picking my niche within the vast area of CRM systems. You heard Stelly say it's like a little bit competitive space, but it's also a huge space. And there's room for niche products. And it meant less pressure on performance in terms of growth. That's because I can adjust my price for the limited number of features I have as long as a core functionality is nailed. I have many customers who only need very, very core features. And if the price remains low enough, I can compete on that alone. And from there, I can add features in the pace that I decide and extend my audience slowly, all based on feedback and requests from current customers. So, picking your niche. And then, be in control. I'm actually quite often reassured that even though it took a long time and was an economic struggle at times, then not taking any investment up until this point has been the right thing for me to do. Being able to put things on standby at times to prioritize and care for my family has been key to staying sane and staying together. To have my startup also be my hobby by working on the tasks I find energizing was helping me get through some of the tough times. And crisis is opportunity. So I've heard people say that in Chinese the word crisis is composed of two characters. One represents danger and the other represents opportunity. So my story proved that to me in a few ways. For example, there's nothing I regret about quitting my job. There's nothing I regret about moving to our wonderful house in the countryside. And there's really nothing I regret about attending therapy sessions. I'm actually really, really happy about it. But if it hadn't been for that crisis, we may not have been doing it like that. And the last thing I have for you today is keep thinking about the day that you die. Thank you.